Today I'm going to talk about how to choose the perfect domain name for your website. In this video I want to talk a little about why this is important. I want to give you some examples of domain names that I've used, and I want to give you some pointers on how to choose the right domain name and what to avoid when choosing this name. My name is Chris. Thank you for watching. If you don't know me, I'm a full-time freelance web designer and developer, and I work with web design, business development, experience design, and marketing in general, and branding, of course. And I have this YouTube channel where I talk about all these things. I have more than 15 years of experience in some of these things, so I try to give out some of the good stuff to all the great viewers out there. And I love getting feedback, so if you have any comments or questions, feel free to type them in the comment section below, or send me an email, and always connect with me on Facebook and Twitter. Of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I put up new videos every Friday. So why is the domain name so important? Well, it is first and foremost important for branding purposes. You want to have a domain name that sort of fits in your in your general branding strategy. And of course, if you have a business or some type of organization, it would always be great to have the same name, domain name as your business, and the suffix, the .com or .dk or whatever your country has as a suffix. But choosing the right name is so very important, and sometimes the domain name is either taken or it doesn't really make any sense to choose the business name as a domain name. So there are some instances where I want to do something else. But another reason for choosing a great domain name is SEO. If people try to Google something and they find a domain name matching what they are searching for, this is a great way to pop up early on in the search results. And of course, email is so very important. If you can't connect or contact people, you won't get far in the business world. So email is important, and choosing a domain name where you can put on some emails that are easy to remember is a very big part of staying in business. So here you see some examples of domain names that I've chosen and I've used. And first off, my own domain name, christianrathje.com. It is it's great to use your personal name if you're a freelancer, or if you're doing it for a personal business, a blog or something like that. Problem here is my last name, Rathje, is not very common in Denmark and can be a little hard to spell, and therefore hard to remember to people. Another thing, in Denmark we use the .dk suffix, and the .com suffix sometimes confuses people, but I sort of like it anyways. Parents to be is a website I did a few years back, and is it's sort of it's telling the story of what this site is about. It's mainly targeted at people who are going to be parents soon, and it's actually parents. It's not very good to use numbers in your domain names, but sometimes it does just make sense, but it can be a little hard for people to remember. Secondhandonline.dk is actually my wife's web shop, or was my wife's web shop, and I like the name Secondhand Online. It's secondhand is used a lot in Denmark to describe well, secondhand clothes, even though we have our own Danish word for it. But I think it's a great business name, and it's a great domain name, although it's used a lot on the web. So it was a problem, getting the Facebook alias and so on. The last name, doodlesnation.com, is a web shop I did, and it's a web shop for kids clothing, clothing store, and it's fun, it's playful, and I think it's okay, easy to remember, and fun and playful. That's sort of some of the things that they wanted to be known for. So Doodles Nation was a great name for this. So there are a number of things that you should remember when you are going to choose your domain name. You can always use the company name or the product name that you're trying to sell. This is sort of the surefire way to get a good domain name, provided that your company name is great, and that is not always the case. But that's something to think about first and foremost. It should be easy to remember. So if you have a long company name, or a name for a website that is very long, try to keep it short somehow, or just use one or several of the words of the name, and choosing the right suffix, as I talked about before. Choosing the right suffix. People tend to use .com, but the problem is today, pretty much every .com word or domain you can think of is used. So use .co or .eu or whatever you want, and try to make it so it makes sense for the people that are trying to find your website. I think in the end it's not so very important that you have a .com domain. Some people tend to give it a lot of credit in SEO, or in branding and marketing, but I don't think it's so important. You can choose .org or anything else, and you would be set just as great. And you can get creative with your domain names. Just remember that this is something that should be easy to spell first and foremost. You see a lot of businesses that have special names, and this is pretty much okay, because people tend to remember the names if they have a great experience with you. So try to get creative. Choose international names. In Denmark we have the letters A, Ö, and O, which is very hard to understand for people outside the Nordic countries. But in the case that you someday want to sort of get out into the international areas of your business, make sure that your domain name is international. In Denmark, we can actually type in the AÖNO in our browsers, and it sort of works fine. But if foreign people are trying to find our businesses, it wouldn't be so great. Most people don't have these characters on their keyboard. Choose several domain names. This is always an option. It can be a little confusing, and you have to be aware of the proper way of redirecting your domains, so you won't be punished by search engines. I did a video on how to redirect correctly, but using sort of aliases, or choosing more than one domain name, can be very very helpful, and you know, especially if you have a long business name, or people you tend to use abbreviations. I'm going to talk about abbreviation later on, but you can do this, or you can do the thing with, if you have, you know, if you have a business name where people tend to misspell the business name, buy the misspelled business name and just redirect them to the right side, and help your customers or people seeking your business, help them out in this way. Before I end this video, I just wanted to talk a little about what mistakes I typically see out there. Avoid long names. The longer the name, the harder it is to remember, and the bigger the risk is for misspelling and mistakes and so on. And I heard or read a rule about, you know, choosing the right name, that and the rule goes, if you have to spell it on the phone when you're talking to people, it's the wrong domain name. But you know, avoid long domain names, shorten them down if possible, and if it makes sense to people. Avoid abbreviations. I talked about the abbreviations before. Some cases it can be okay, and it can be, you know, people can know your business by your abbreviation, but they are so hard to remember because they are just, you know, several letters put together, and it doesn't always make sense. So be very careful with this. Don't use product or business descriptions or types. And what I mean by this is, you know, you tend to buy the domain name bookshop.com, or you know, flowerstore.dk. And you know, while it in the beginning, when we started out building websites, people thought that this was a great way to sort of promote your business, and you wanted to be fast and pick up this domain name. It's not very good anymore, because it gets too generic, and it doesn't, while it describes your product, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't help your branding very much. So try and stay away from these sort of generic business or product types. You can have it, you know, if you have you could have Jim's flower shop, or you know, cooking, the cooking bookstore, or anything like that. You know, it sort of adds something to the domain name and the business name, but beware of using these sort of generic names. That's all for now. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I hope this gave you a little more info about choosing the right domain name. And remember, you know, choose the right domain name in the beginning. When your website or web shop or business gets bigger, and you know, people tend to know your website name or your domain name, it will be very hard to change it. So make sure that you choose the right name from the start. As always, don't be a stranger. See you later. Bye.